beautiful people. How are you all doing today? I trust you're faring well. I hope your family is fine. I hope you had a pleasant week. I welcome you all to today's episode on Friday Talks with Jemima, where we talk about everything pertaining to life and God. I'm your lovely host, Jemima, and it's so exciting to be here. I find it really funny when people go out to preach Christ and say things like, accept Jesus and your problems will be over, accept Jesus and your battles will go away, accept Jesus and there's no stress, no pain, and stuff. All in the bid to persuade them to accept Jesus. I do not entirely agree with this, and I feel like if someone accepted Jesus because of all of these reasons that I just stated, what happens when they are faced with the slightest storm? They get disappointed and they fall out because they actually went there because they need their trials to fly off the window. And if this does not happen a few weeks after they accepted Jesus, they feel disappointed and they go back. They're like, oh, this thing did not work for me. Pressing light after all. And that's not good for business. You know how difficult it can be to persuade someone who has used a product and it did not work for them or did not give them the required results, and you're trying to persuade them to use it again or convince them to use it again. It's even easier to convince someone someone that is fresh, that has never had an encounter with the product before, than to convince someone who has used it before and was disappointed to use it again. It's very difficult. However, this is what I recommend. Let us tell them the truth. Tell them the truth. And what is the truth? Now, in the book of Matthew chapter 8, from verse 22 to 26, there was a story where Jesus called upon some men to be his disciples and he told them to follow him. They followed him and he did not tell them that, oh, follow me and your troubles will be over. Follow me and your trials will be over. Follow me and say bye-bye to hardship, say bye-bye to stress, pain and all of those stuff. He didn't say that. In fact, in the earlier verse, I think in verse 20, he said, foxes have holes, birds have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. In other words, he's saying that he's seen me as I am like this. I do not have anywhere to call home. I do not have anywhere to lay my head. So follow me so that you too will not have anywhere to lay your head. Follow me, let's wander together. You know, such statement is not an encouraging statement. It's not something it's not a marketable statement. But they followed him because they had a level of trust. For someone to hear such a thing and still follow, it means that they have trust in him beyond the surface, beyond what they can get very fast. They had more trust in what they could get from him eternally. In the later verse, they entered into the boat and then the storm. I mean, you believe that when you're walking with Jesus, there should be no trouble, there should be no trial, there should be no struggle. We have Jesus in our hearts. These guys had Jesus physically. Jesus was physically there with all his power. And there was struggle. If they had the wrong foundation, they would have just said, I'm following this guy, and then they stop. I bet this guy is not working. Just, find their way and denounce following him and just find their way, find something else to do in their lives. But because they had trust in Jesus, they had a good foundation for their followership. They went to him and woke him, Master, save us in the storm. And then Jesus calmed the storm. We need to begin to preach and give people the right foundation for their salvation. Let them know that when you accept Jesus, doesn't mean that trials will not arise. It doesn't mean that there will be no storm anymore in your life. It only means that no matter the storm, no matter how turbulent the storm is, Jesus is there. Jesus is there with you. That's why Psalm 23 verse 4 says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. That's it. That's the promise, that I will be with you. I will be with you. No matter how turbulent, no matter how difficult the crisis is, I will be with you. That is what Jesus has promised us. And that he will give us peace. I mean, what level of peace could one possibly have than for you to be sleeping? A storm that was scaring people and they almost peed their pants. I mean, the Bible did not say that. But they were so scared, they were terrified. They ran to Jesus and said, save us. And Jesus was sleeping. He was literally sleeping in the boat. But the fact that he was there, meant that there was solution. It's a high time we begin to preach to people and help them get the right foundation for their salvation. That's why we have people who, when things go wrong, they turn their back on Jesus and say, well, Jesus is not working for me and stop. they have the right foundation, you will know that the thoughts he has towards you are thoughts of good and not of evil. So you see Jesus in every situation. Dearest believer, I know that you want to win souls for Christ. I know that you want a lot of names to be under your account as souls that should be won. I know that you want 1,000,001 people to come into Christ, to come into salvation. I understand, but please, in your quest for this, make sure that you are preaching it right. You are bringing them for the right reason. Let them understand that we do not follow Jesus because of the signs. We do not follow him because we want something from him. Help them understand that we love him. That's why we follow him, because he first loved us by giving his life for us. So preach right. Preach and let people accept Jesus for the right reasons. Let them know that the basis for our salvation is Jesus, his love. And also, if you're a believer, you've accepted Jesus, but you are not following him for the right reason, I want you to check your salvation. Check it. Are you following for the right reasons? Are you not following because of signs? Are you not following him because you want him to give you a good life? You want to have a good life? Follow Jesus for the right reasons. Let your reasons be love. A pastor of mine used to say that if God comes down and says, you see, in the next 1 year, I'm not going to perform any signs, any wonder, he will then ask that, who amongst us will remain in the church? God is saying it's not going to answer any prayer in the next 1 year. Will you still pray? Will you still come to church? Will you still worship? Ask yourself that question. Let the base of our salvation, let the base of our walk with God be love. Get it right. Have a good foundation for your salvation. Right. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of Friday Talk to Jemima. I trust you had a wonderful time. I love you guys so much. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification button to get notified each time I drop a video. Also, please drop a comment and share this post to your friends and family. I hope to see you next Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye. Selfie time.